All right, guys, let me just give you a quick recap, okay? I just went in Fedor's last match in the parking lot getting ready to leave. When I was in there, okay, I kind of ran into a group of everybody. Let me give you a quick rundown. Ran into Chuck Liddell, looked like he was doing great. I mean, I got to tell you, Chuck is always physically looked very good. He seemed like he was in a very happy place, and I have to say the same thing about Mark Coleman. Mark came in from Ohio, and Mark is back involved in the sport to a degree. I know that he's training people. I know that he's working with people. And Matt Brown was largely responsible for getting the hammer back in the sport, which, quite frankly, he never should have left. Somebody with that kind of knowledge, not only of wrestling, but of the sport of mixed martial arts, really does need to stay involved and get back. And I only tell that to you because if you want to be trained by Mark Coleman, consider reaching out to him and asking him. Some guys are an ask away. And I would just share that with you. I got to sit right by Matt Hughes. Caught up with Matt, man, everything's really good. And I wondered too, hey, how is Matt doing? Because he seems to be moving better, and he also seems to be communicating a lot better, but it's to the point where you're going to have full conversations with him. I will even do that when I'm not with him. I will text with him, and he'll get right back to me. So we were able to do that tonight. We caught up a little bit. He's not following wrestling, amateur wrestling, as close as I thought that he might. But he did know about Iowa versus Penn State, for example. He did know about Iowa versus Ohio State. Caught up with Randy Couture. He's always doing something good, right? And you guys still hear a lot about Randy. He's got one of the who's gyms of Las Vegas. Still bringing great guys through. Francis Ngannou comes to mind. But Randy's always doing a movie. He's always working on something. He's always commentating somewhere. It's great to see him. Dan Henderson's still running his gym. I got to sit by all these guys. That's why I can give you so much gossip on so many. Dan Henderson is still running his gym. And as part of Dan's gym, he's got an area from day one when he bought this gym. He's going to do a gym area, but he was going to have room for like chiropractic and recovery, massage type work, but he was also going to have room for a brewery where he's going to turn it into a restaurant, kind of an all-in-one. So he's got everything completed, but he's still finishing up the kitchen part of his gym right now. That was kind of an update on the boys. Ran into Hans, he was doing good. I saw Luke Rockhold here. I didn't get a visit with him, but he looked like $1 million. Luke's announced that he's coming back to the sport. So when I see him at a Bellator and I see him front and center, it then makes me wonder, makes me suspect that maybe Coker is rolling out a little bit of a red carpet, kind of showing Luke around. That's a guess by me. No one actually told me that. Talked to Frank Shamrock. This may be the final piece of gossip I give you. I talked to Frank Shamrock. I said, Frank, you look great. And Frank, when he fought, the heaviest he ever weighed was 193 pounds. Now, I know that's a random number, but I happen to remember it. I happen to remember Frank was the light heavyweight champion, and he weighed in at 193. And I told him that. I said, if you were 193 at one point, you must still be 193. He said, Chael, I'm actually 173. And he said, I'll tell you a secret. The heaviest I ever weighed was 176. When you heard 193, that was added by the broadcast booth. It's a fun fact. I didn't know it. And if you guys go back to the Frank Shamrock time, I mean, come on. That's pretty incredible. The greatest Frank Shamrock moment that I saw, and I saw a lot of them, but one that I remember the most, it was in San Jose against Phil Baroni. Frank's out there fighting him. And whoever you are, if you're taking on Phil Baroni, right, Phil's got hands. Frank's out there fighting with him. He's fighting with him. And Frank points at him. And then Frank does this. He does this sleepy face. He points to Phil while they're fighting. And then he says, you're going to sleep. And then he steps in with a 2-beat combo and put him to sleep. One of the great Frank Shamrock moments, particularly for a guy that only weighs 173 pounds.